dos, tres.
All right, if you guys are not familiar with me, my name is Ms. Dillon. I'm the director for the TRIO Talent Search programs here. And I am happy to be your moderator for today's CEO chat. And I have here with me.
Tamia Jenkins.
What school you go to, Tamia?
Go to Thornwood High School.
All right. All righty. So today we have the pleasure of meeting with Melinda Kelly. She is a seasoned advocate for small business development and economic transformation in Chicago's underserved communities. As executive director of the Chatham Business Association, also known as CBA, she has led the organization from deficit to financial stability by securing federal, state, city, and private sector grants. Under her leadership, CBA has gained national recognition, including its appointment as an SBA Community Navigator Tier 3 hub by the Biden-Harris administration. CBA focuses on fostering entrepreneurship among women, veterans, and formerly incarcerated individuals, while managing business corridors in Chatham, Auburn, Gresham, and now South Shore. She is also the principal of Melkel Group, L3C Incorporated, a woman-owned disadvantaged business enterprise, and the 2024 Dr. Arthur Fletcher Award recipient. Melkel Group bridges urban markets with inclusive workforce strategies and community outreach, specializing in placing local talent on development projects to meet diversity and equity goals. MKG's mission is to be the new and innovative where traditional community outreach and workforce development programs have failed. Please help me in welcoming our CEO of the day, Melinda Kelly, and our special guest, Sherlanda Brooks. I like this.
Hi, do I need to pick this up too? Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to the FACIA offices. We're glad to have you.
So excited to be here. I'm gonna calm down in a minute. Yeah. Thank you all for letting us be here.
Wonderful. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. But first, do you want to just give us a little bit more information about Ms. Brooks?
Yes, you did a great job of introducing us, but in order to do what we do, especially when you work in the community, you have to have a team. You have to have people who can work with corporations. You have to have people who can work on the ground. And Sherlanda is one of the persons on our team. Not only is she director of operations, but she also helps me with on the diversity supplier side when we're trying to get, like, you know that Bally's is here, right? The gambling casino place is coming. So there's a construction side, but then there's also the product side, the event side. So we got to make sure that we're included in that. And so I take her with me. She's also young at heart, and I thought you would enjoy meeting her, and her name is Sherlanda.
I am super excited to be here alongside, as I affectionately call Melinda Kelly, boss lady, because by her bio, you see she's a boss, right?
Yeah.
You know a boss when you see one. So you guys are in the presence of greatness, and so we're just so excited to be here with you to share and impart our feedback and things that we've learned along our journey, things that we could, hopefully do differently, and hopefully instill some things in you that you guys can take along with you on your amazing journeys.
Perfect. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump in. In your opinion, what role do organizations like TRIO play in preparing future leaders, especially from underrepresented communities?
TRIO has been such an important partner to Chatham Business Association in a lot of different ways. One of the ways I'll mention specifically, and then I'll go back to our overall, in 2020, when COVID hit and everything shut down, we have corporations on our board. One of those is ComEd. And during that time, during COVID, all corporations tried to figure out they had to stay relevant, they had to help their customers, people were losing their jobs. We had to figure out a way to help people. So CBA, we wrote a program specifically where we hired 100 people from different communities because ComEd has a lot of union workers They were trying to do things like transfer people to the grid. They couldn't do that. And part of the reason is that when you use people who are not from our community, sometimes they don't know when they interact with our community. So they might be wanting to help you. But if a person comes even in a combat uniform at 6 a.m. in the morning, you're trying to do things and get ready, they don't understand how busy our life is.
Yeah.
They don't show up in places like at centers like this where people are trusted, where you talk to them. So we put a program, we hired 100 people from the community, taught them how to help people with energy efficiency. But in our quest to do that, and we also were charged with doing the same thing for CSX, who had a program where they were separating the railroads, and they needed to hire from the community. But to hire people, there are certain skill sets that you have to have. So for instance, even with our ComEd program, you have to sort of understand, you have to be able to read and comprehend and then articulate those things. We also partnered as a result, because education is part of TRIO's main thing, with city colleges to get them in. There were people who didn't have the reading level of 8th or 9th grade math, so that we can help them, even introduce them to the railroads and hire them under this program. TRIO came in, during COVID, Dr. McKenzie, with his commitment, we opened up the center. We did assessments, online assessments, the prescriptions, the assessments. We got those people in and working. So it's real important that when things are going on, and when I say, you hear about the expansion at O'Hare and things like that, but what you don't want to do is their skill set and certain technical skill sets that need to be adhered. Like if you're going to do the runway, you don't want somebody who doesn't know how long that stuff has to sit. So you don't want your plane dipping in and then somebody say, oh, we didn't know. You have to have people on your team who can comprehend and read. And TRIO is the one that has that gap, because a lot of us who were brought up in certain public, based on our zip code, didn't learn a lot of things. Yeah. Some math things weren't even on the table. And not only that, math has continually changed and grown. So to have an organization like TRIO who is so committed to meeting people where they are, which helps us get them in small businesses, in the larger play, to keep them in the economy game, because you want people to have jobs with economic value. We're competing with what I call an independent economy, and you can't do that sometimes on minimal money. Things cost a lot. That money's there. We have to make sure we get people in there. So I hope I answered the question. That was a little long question, but we've partnered with what TRIO does in terms of helping supplement that education, that technical part, and then being creative with it, because Illinois has great universities. That's one of the reasons why corporations come here. But the question is, what's my experience there? Am I getting out of it what I need? Am I getting it on the level that I need it? Because, sometimes you talk about teaching a child how to read, but we all know if they're not fed, it's not easy to teach them how to read. TRIO makes sure that it's all well rounded, that they got partnerships like us, that they can make sure we put people in the real world. They partner with us because we are in the mix of making sure that all these projects in Illinois that are requiring talent, people are ready to receive, either on the employment side or the diversity side, or running their own business, which is our favorite, which is to plant that seed of running your own business. If you have an idea, remember, a business is just an idea that we can research. Is the demand there? Is the market there? What are your resources for talent? And then filling that need. That's all it is. So if you have an idea, you really should be coming to talk to us so we can incubate that. It's never too soon to start a business. Never. Don't think that because the idea, sometimes you have a great idea, but then you get overwhelmed that, I don't know what to do. I can't do it. Is that really needed? Don't second guess it. Come, let's figure it out, and let's see. We'll tell you the truth based on research and demand and your talent skills, if it's a good fit for you.
Perfect. I'm glad that you said that it's never too early to start
Never
your
too early.
business, right? There's a lot of young entrepreneurs, especially now, that are doing great, that are making millions of dollars, whether it's from YouTube or clothing or even hair. So I'm really glad that you said that. All right, Tamia.
Hello.
Hello, Tania.
So, speaking on education, can you share a bit about your educational and career journey? What key moments or decisions shaped your path to becoming president of the Chatham Business Association?
So, I think it's a combination of a few things. First of all, I just think that what I have come to learn in my life is that when you are going through your education path, and I don't even ask people anymore the question of what do you want to be, because I think that answer will be shaped probably during your education journey, a little after, and depending on what your experiences are, where you live, and what you do. So I grew up in the Chicago Housing Authority. As a matter of fact, I am in the public housing historical files as a successful CHA resident. I came from a family, fortunately, where my father was very into the Civil Rights Initiative. Now, when you're young, in my generation, you were drug around there. You had to go to church to help your parents do this. You had to clean your grandparents' steps. You had to do whatever you had to do. To be quite honest, on the advocacy side, hanging around with, at that time it was bread basket and other things, was not my favorite thing to do at all. My technical skills, my mom was pushing me to be a court reporter, hated it. Accountant, hated that. So I did a little bit of everything, and then I ended up, finishing on the paralegal side and doing some a la carte things. The most important educational technical program that I was a part of really was after I joined Chatham Business Association. Dr. McKenzie and I were in the 10,000 K program, which is like an MBA program for CEO leaders, because it was at that journey in my life where I realized, going back to the side that I didn't like, helping businesses, helping black businesses. Chatham Business Association was started because you learn you can't do anything alone. You have to join an organization. I don't care what you're doing. You got to join an organization. It's too hard to figure all this out alone. And then black people were not allowed to join organizations. So they formed their own. And as a result, we got the first cleaners. We had the contract with the White Sox. They band together and get things done. That is during that period of learning how important it is to have that independent voice. As you get exposed to these programs, as you get exposed to organizations like us and TRIO, and you look at the leadership, your spirit is not going to let you rest when things are going easy. You're going to be a disruptor. And a disruptor means that when you hear all of this stuff and you start to feel helpless, you're going to figure out how from where you are to start changing that, to start disrupting it. Mm-hmm. For instance, the president has said that DEI doesn't exist, which is diversity, equity. Yeah, it does exist. We're not going anywhere. The numbers are still there. We just finished a contract under the Biden-Harris administration. We know how to get businesses in federal contracts. You think we're going to stop doing that work? DEI just means for us now we definitely earned it already. All we have to do is band together and get it. Sometimes that means teaming with somebody. It means teaming culturally. It means teaming technically. It means getting part of an organization. So your path, by you even being in this program, I can tell you the seed is planted and it's going to grow. And when it sprouts, so it's going to change. And I would not be concerned if you don't exactly know what you want to do right now. Expose yourself to a lot of things, meet a lot of people. It's going to come, because you're going to need that drive and passion and tenacity to do whatever you do. Because that's the journey. You want to add to that on your journey?
Yeah. Thank you, Melinda, for that. But yeah, I'm a product of the West Side. Grew up on the West Side of Chicago. Went to Lane Tech High School and was blessed to be able to go to the University of Kansas on a track scholarship. Right.
Nice.
0.2% black. Right. Right. Out of 30,000 students, 0.2% black. So that shaped my journey right there. Right. Just being able to come out of that environment. I was recruited by schools all over the country, but again, settled on Kansas because they gave me a full ride. My mother couldn't afford to send me to school. She was a teacher, but we couldn't make it on that. So I had to be strategic on what's going to be the best for the family. So those of you that are looking at colleges, I know, scholarships are on the table for you guys, but you want to be intentional and strategic from day one on the decisions that you make, right? And so from there, left Kansas, and I started working for Oscar Mayer and Kraft. That was a meat and cheese head, right? But that background came from my father. Always had a business, right? He had a grocery store. A restaurant, things like that. And so coming out of Oscar Mayer and Kraft, it was a little difficult, right? Just making those shifts. And then I started my own consumer product company, right? And so understand that when you go to school and come out, your path may not be what you started. I majored in communications, right? Because I needed to finish school. I wanted to do business, but with my schedule, I was like, I might not make it out of here if I major, because it was going to be tough. I'm just being honest, right? But don't be afraid to pivot, right? Once you get in, you don't have to declare your major on day one. It's great that you have aspirations, but like I used to want to be a lawyer until I went to work for a law firm. I was like, oh no, I can't do this. And after school, I was like, I'm done. I'm just being honest. I didn't want to go to school another day. But being able to, like Melinda said, expose yourself to different things, to different careers, research those things like that, and that can help shape you. And it's okay to pivot. We all pivoted during the pandemic, right? We had to pivot. So I would tell you that, on your life's journey, don't be afraid to pivot. It's okay, and to Melinda's point, keeping the 3 Ds. I say have drive, dedication, and determination, no matter what, and don't be afraid to fail. And whatever you do, focus on making progress, not perfection. I wish I knew that earlier, because I would have finished some stuff. I was last minute. I'm studying for an exam. Don't do this. I studied for exam like the day before. Of course, I didn't do that well, but it was just too much, right? But learning to make progress, not perfection, right? Nothing's going to always be perfect, but learn to move the lever forward just a little bit. If you got to see, that's fine, but you're there, right? Just be able to stick to it, stay focused, use the resources like TRIO, you have Melinda here and everybody else here. Be able to use your resources and your network to get you to the goal or place that you want to go. And that's it.
And since this is family, you all are in a great spot. I see the podcast. So my point is, you're in the foreground. You're not catching up. Stay current and do the things that interest you. I know sometimes the classes can be overwhelming, but there's a lot of things online. If it interests you, go ahead and stick your head in and jump on it so that it piques your interest. Anything with entrepreneurship, I encourage you to do it.
So, Ms. Brooks, you brought up a really good point. You were saying that you actually went to the law firm and you figured out, okay, this may not work, right? What advice would you give students about putting themselves out there and getting internships and really, making sure that it's not just something that they think they want to do. They actually get to sit in the seat, maybe shadow some people and really see if this is something that they're passionate about.
Well, you just answered it. That's exactly right?
Yeah.
So being able to have a list of things that you may want to do. And again, using connections and resources to be able to do that. Because again, I like to talk, I can argue, but when I sat in with those depositions and stuff, I was like, ooh, this is a whole lot. And being honest, after I finished college, I'm just being honest, I was just so happy to get out of school. I didn't see myself going back to school 4 more years. I still have nightmares about I'm missing a class or something. I'm just being honest. But yeah, you want to give yourself options, right? And so you want to do something that you see that's relevant, right? Or pain points, because if it's something that you're looking to do, whether career-wise or entrepreneur-wise, seeing where there's a gap. And some of you, so many decisions are made or ideas come out of groups like this, right? Talking to someone, you're like, this is a problem, right? Don't be afraid to try that. Don't be afraid to put that out in the atmosphere or to create that and see what you get. And if you don't like it, it's okay. It's okay. You can say that you started and finish something. So that's what I would just say. Start something and finish it, okay? If it doesn't net you the results you wanted, it's okay. But you have to be in it. You have to be exposed to different people, to different jobs, to different professions to see what you want.
Yeah. And I worked at a law firm, but I didn't go away to school. I went to a community college, and then I worked all while I was in school first, and then I went to a higher. So when I was when I graduated high school, I worked at a law firm. I loved it because I had the overtime, I had all the resources, and I had to pay for my school while I went.
Yeah.
So my parents were, impressing upon me that they're not paying for it, but they also reminded me to keep it manageable and don't come out with a lot of student debt. So, it depends on how you do it. And I think what really helped me, not only could I get overtime, but when you're in school and you're working someplace, the good news is, you don't have to be there forever. So because she went in after, that was her experience. So it depends on how it goes. It could be different for you because while you're working there, at least I'm still going to school. I know I don't want to do this forever, but it doesn't feel as heavy because it's like it's helping me pay for my education. I'm getting my little outfit in and I'm getting my education done. So it could be different for each person. It just, if you need money to do it, then you have to balance too. And that's why you work with organizations. That's why TRIO and Chatham would collab, because if that's the case, we just have to get it done.
So how can educators and youth programs better prepare students for leadership and entrepreneurship in today's economy?
And I think the main thing is to be relevant. There was a time when I was coming out of school, everybody was doing data entry. Data entry don't exist anymore. You have to stay current. The Department of Energy is doing quite a few things. Both organizations are involved in the policy part of it, the economy part of it, technology. Stay current. You are in an organization that is, policy, in my opinion, business a little go hand in hand, because you can't just be in business and unfortunately ignore politics, because some of the decisions they make is going to affect your business. It's going to affect your education. So you cannot separate yourself or put your head in the sand and say, I'm just going to do my thing. But being on the forefront, like for instance, right now, we know from our contract with the Biden-Harris, there's a lot of contracts still in the Department of Defense that are available. We're still encouraging our businesses to engage in that. DEI or not, we've already been taught how to go after it. Let's do it. Put the numbers in to do it. You have to stay current to know what's going on and where you should be. Manufacturing is big. Department of Transportation is big because you have 6 major railroads who got a lot of money to separate themselves because the business to business demand increases is here, who is looking for talent and can't get it. So you want to put yourself in the forefront. Do I want to start a business and do that for them? Or you just want to make sure that it goes hand in hand, because you got to take that knowledge to know where you should be and temper that with getting your education, your technical skills, and then where you think you fit best. And I hope this sounded a little clearer than what it sounds coming out of my mouth. To know what you should do. You got to be current. You got to understand what's going on in the economy today. You have to understand what's available out here. What part of it, everything. Some things have different accreditations that you can add to your education that can change your trajectory and put you in a place where you want to be, so that you're able to start a business or be current. You can a la carte it. You understand? To make it work for you.
Yep,
Help me make that clear.
Yeah, no, that was good. I want to add to that being intentional, right? Like to being able to support your group. So if there are businesses or industries that you find out that you want to go into, be intentional, right? Identify with either myself or Melinda to see where are the corporations that can help maybe get you the potential internships or exposure to those different industries that you want to go into. That way you can see, if you guys don't have a LinkedIn, I encourage you to create a LinkedIn. You guys can connect with me on there, but being able to be intentional about partnering, using the network and resources that you have to get you to see what are the opportunities out there that can be most beneficial. Or to your point, like I might not even want to get in that, but being able to use the network, work with corporations, organizations, organizations like Chatham, they have board members that are in, C-suite available, right? So being able to understand who's on the board, how can we connect to see how maybe we can get an internship, maybe we can just go shadow someone, maybe having someone else come in and speak in those particular areas or industries, so that you can benchmark and ask the right questions about what you should be looking for to do next. Like what's the next new thing, right? Because that's what you want to be. You want to be ahead of you want to be proactive, not reactive.
Okay. Okay, so with being a woman of color, there are obviously some challenges. So have you ever had someone criticize you or try to bring you down? And how did you combat that to ultimately complete your goal?
Yes, being a woman of color, what you find is that it's amazing. You could be in a room of a lot of different people, and sometimes you are the minority as a woman. You can say an idea, but what you notice is act like no one's heard it. And then you come back because it's a good idea. So you go, we're talking about this problem. I think I just offered a solution. Let me put it out there again. And then it's still not acknowledged. Then a man maybe in the room may pick up your same idea, repeat it, and everybody's like, that is a great idea. And you look at yourself and go, didn't I just say that? Because, you're trying to balance, especially a black woman, you're trying to balance not being an angry black woman in a room. You're trying to balance some femininity. You're trying to balance, you're not trying to be disruptive, but I need to be heard. So first, you have to sort of remind yourself it's not personal. You have to align yourself with leaders who respect women like Dr. McKenzie, who's in the room. You bring them in the room with you on important decisions. You bring your allies with you, because what they will do is they will elevate your voice. They will give you the respect that you need. The main thing you cannot do, you cannot give up. And even sometimes it's coming from another woman. Even with that, you have to balance that so that that conflict doesn't become the focus of it. Like, if they forget what we said. It's just like, Melinda, Sean, you see them getting out? That's not what you want. And what I do, if there is another woman in the room, I make sure that if she does say something and I see that she hasn't heard, I'll repeat it. Oh, sister, did you say? That sounds great. Why don't you repeat it and say it more to help people understand it? You have to, I think, be prepared. And when I say be prepared, I think women are nurturing and we're like the glue. We like to keep, and sometimes you have to pull back from that and say, there's 3 points out of here that I think I'm gonna have to prioritize to win, because I can't win this whole battle. And this is, the views are too cynical, they're too male dominated. I've got to pick what my victory is gonna be so I can stick on that one topic. And then if I get that, I'm gonna have to come back on the next meeting and do it again. And then again, you bring the allies. So I say there are great men who respect us as women. Make sure you align yourself with them and make sure and it's nothing wrong with bouncing back off of them what you're trying to say, because sometimes we do talk a lot. I noticed that with my son. I would say something and then his dad would come in and say, shut up and do it. And I'm like, well, what? Wait a minute. I've been trying to articulate and get you to buy in when maybe I just should have said what he did. Shut up and do it. No questions asked. So, and that's hard for us to do because we feel from the heart and we feel from the spirit. I want you to understand it. I want you to be in. I want you to know. Sometimes it's not that. It's just, this is the path we need to go. Mm-hmm. And this is the path we need to go. And you keep going down that. So it's challenging. You have to do self-care and charge yourself. You have to surround yourself around people who make you feel good because you got to stay strong. So when people tell you down, you have to pull them away, and you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to just add, what you're speaking of is microaggressions, right? That happens a lot. And in some instances, it can even be a macro. It's like, it's not even covert, right? But when that happens, I would tell the women, and men too, especially women, don't be afraid to let your light shine, right? Learn to say yes to no and no to the fear of saying no. A lot of times as women, we shrink back, right? And sometimes less is more. Sometimes, to Melinda's point, someone says something, it's not even about you. But at the end of the day, if you're in the room, there's been meetings that I've assembled that it was me, I was the only African-American woman, and all white men. And when it came to my introduction, I said, I'm the reason we all are here. That's a fact, right? And they know that. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard. Don't be afraid to let your light shine. And a lot of times if someone doesn't, if they say something to you, it's not even about you. It's about them, right? But learn sometimes less is more. We don't always have to have the biggest voice in the room, because I'm a doer. I'm not going, when I ran track, I never talked about or bragged about what I did. I was the top in the state. I broke records. But I wasn't like, oh, this was me. I showed you way better than I can tell you. So I would encourage you to do that. Let the proof be in the pudding, right? It's by your actions, not even what you say. You don't even have to, sometimes silence is really golden. Just do what you need to do. Let other people do all of that talking, and you just do what you do and execute.
Period, Ms. Brooks. Okay. Yeah. All right, so this is a little off script, but I'm glad that you said it. Ms. Kelly, you talked about self-care, right, and taking care of yourself. And I believe, when you are, especially Black women, sometimes we do not take care of ourselves, or just women of color, period. We have a tendency to take care of everybody else around us except for ourselves. What are some ways that you exercise self-care?
And this is a learned trait. Right now, I'll be 67 this year. But it took me a minute of going through, with parents, building an organization. I put so much into it, raising a child. But I had to learn, I've got to know my health numbers. I have learned that, again, so I have taken up golf, for instance.
Nice.
And the reason I did it is because it's just not related to what I do, per se. When I'm out there, I'm not good at it. But I went on ahead and took the lessons and invested the time, because once you make that commitment, at least that time, no matter what is going on, like I did cancel mine today because I'd rather be with you all. But it helps me being outdoors, walking. I walk every day now when I get up in the morning. I have learned to schedule meetings. COVID sort of got us in a really bad habit of 24 hours being on, responding to your texts, and sometimes you got to put that down, because you have to be able to think and align yourself to what you want to do. So I want to say the mental part, get with good people who are not talking about other people but are talking about important issues. Get with an organization that has your interest, like you all are involved. TRIO, stay involved with this, not only while you're in it, but keep in mind the people coming behind you. Get outside, exercise, and how do I say this? I don't know how to say it politically correct, but God gives us a family that we're born into. And that's one thing. But he also gives you another family you could choose with friends. And sometimes you have to balance both with the other. Because family, I love my family, but I have come to learn that sometimes you have to manage that energy so that you can take care of yourself. Because you have a tendency, you want to take care of everybody, you want to do it, you want to manage it. And you keep in mind all that space in your brain. And then what happens is, I do think that the better you do, or the more work you do, or when you are a doer, what that does get you is more work, which in a way is a compliment, but in another way it has to be managed. because it's just like they say on the airplane, if you don't have your own air mask on first, you can't help anybody, not even your own child. So, and I don't know if you're going to know that right is today, but I think what you have to do, the younger you start doing that or being aware, I wish I had done it in my 20s. Then, you know, now I'm not taking high blood pressure medicine, but started in my 20s and I had to take it. And it wasn't because I was so busy doing things. I ate without, you know, stress makes you do different things. You learn to manage that. So you've got to learn your body and you got to take care of yourself. If you don't feel good mentally or emotionally, take a minute. What is making me sad? What do I need to do? Because you're going to feel sad. You're going to feel sad. As young people, one of the big things is that everything I hear on the news, I do worry about you all because it's coming in. That's anxiety by itself. What you hear, because we don't sometimes hear all the good stuff that goes on. We don't get to, you got to keep telling your story about the good stuff that goes on because other young people need to hear it. That's all part of that self-care journey. You got to maintain that. Once you get that as part of your lifestyle, DNA culture, you will not let it go. You know, she's an athlete and she'll call me now and say, do you want to run? And no, I don't. But it's because it's in her, it's part of her lifestyle. So do it now and it won't go away. You'll take care and then you'll be able to get a lot more things done and have the stamina to do it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be quick. 3 things. One, as I said before, learn to say yes to no and no to the fear of saying no. Remember this, givers have to learn how to set boundaries because takers don't have any. Okay, if you're a giver, you want to be conscious of who you are, right? Some of us are empaths. I'm an empath. I listen. I want to try to fix and solve everything. But I realized that was starting to affect my mental health, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? Learning to set really clear boundaries. Right now, my phone goes on do not disturb from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Now, people like Melinda, people I care about, they can get through. But I need to be intentional about just having some time out because, Melinda, tell you, once we get going, it's going and we're just going. We don't know, you know, it's a vicious cycle. So, but it starts with you. You have to be intentional about pressing pause. What you're listening to, what you're watching, the phone, the Instagram, the TikTok. How many of y'all get caught up on TikTok sometimes at night? Right? It just gets going. And it's so funny, but that's not it's a good escape, but then it gets to be too much. So even giving yourself some boundaries there, right? Again, being intentional about what you do and who you do it with. That's what I would just say right there.
Okay, wonderful. So now is the time for us to open up the floor for any questions that you guys might have. So let's go ahead and get it started.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a senior at Darnwood High School. My name is Aiden Davis. So from what I've heard, you guys experienced a lot, been through a lot. When you guys were our age, what piece of advice do you wish that you heard?
Let's see, what piece of advice I wish that I heard. You know, I want to say I think I heard everything right. I didn't take it in. Because again, I did have on my mom's side who kept me in church. She kept me the spiritual stuff. My dad was on I used to think they were crazy. But you know, what happens is these things that they're telling you, we sound sometimes like a broken record, but those pieces of nuggets, you will appreciate them later on in life. I'm trying to think of an example. While I'm thinking of, you got to come in, I'm trying to think of an example of specifically what I heard that then when I got older, you speak while I think.
Yeah, no, I was going to say is that, and I'm still doing it. Whatever I would tell my younger self, I'm still telling myself today. But again, giving myself permission to press pause, right? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak, right? And I know that when I was younger, I definitely probably talked a lot. I did a lot too. But I think that would be the biggest thing. And again, don't be afraid to fail. You know, I think I had OCD and was all, you know, I was a valedictorian of the class. I mean, I always had to do all of that. But it's okay to fail, because if you fall down, you can get back up, right? So that's what I'll just be say. It's okay, right? And it's okay if you don't win every race. I tell you, I ran and I was good, but it was just one race. I came in dead last, and I had on sunglasses and the whole now 10 yards, and I got my butt like beat, right? But it was okay, because it's never how you start, but how you finish. But I was determined from that to go back, and I trained with some guys, and I made it to the Junior Olympics. But again, had I given up, right? So don't give up, right? It's progress, not perfection. Just keep going, and it's okay.
I remember my mother used to always say, bad association spoils useful habits. She always had those things in the moment, when you were, and it came to, I started paying attention to who I associated with, because she would say that, and then she's like, that young lady is, because she was in tune to what, she knew what was going on. So different things that I was told, but they will ring true as you get older. And you may be hearing them now, you just probably don't appreciate them, because people have a tendency to repeat them. But those, when you talk to older people, and I want to say, always take time to sit down and talk to someone senior, someone who's lived a lot. They talk a long time like me, but you will enjoy the lessons that they impart on you, will help you go a long way. So with a grandma, breakfast, just me and you, put the social media down. Someone that in a neighbor who has always been helpful, sit down and talk to them. They're going to give you nuggets of wisdom that you may not appreciate right now, but it's good to have it in your library. So when it comes to realization that, oh, this is why I should be doing that. That's a good lesson learned that I would want to teach my children.
Okay, I'm sorry, last one. Save your money, right? Be intentional about that, right? I know we want a lot of things, I remember, and I think probably why we have as much stuff as we do now. I used to have 2 pair of shoes, right? A church pair of shoes and school shoes, maybe 3 in gym shoes. That was it. I can't tell you how many pair I have now, but I'm saying all to say though that save, right? When your parents, if they, or your guardians, wherever, they say that they can't do something, don't worry about keeping up with everybody else does, right? Because at the end of the day, some people have that. You want money in your pocket. You want to keep money in your bank. You don't always want to be a consumer. So that's what I would say that I didn't do enough of. I'm trying to do it now, because if you start now, the behavior will carry you when you get to my age, right? Don't wait till you get to my age and you like feeling like, and being able to delay gratification. That was it. Delay the gratification. You don't have to have the latest, whatever it is. It's okay. It's okay. You can wait till, go
on sale
or go on eBay or something.
Yeah.
Period. That's all.
All right, we have time for one more question. All right, go ahead.
Should I give you this?
Okay. My name is Sydney, and has there been a point in your life you wanted to quit, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, there are a lot of times I wanted to quit. But I think you have a tendency to want to quit because sometimes things get overwhelming, and we have to realize they are overwhelming. But I think if you have done the right ingredients that we've talked about, where you're doing something, part of it is passion from your heart. It does have to have a financial reward to it. I don't recommend anybody do anything on a business side, on a job side, that isn't financially rewarding. And if you need help thinking that out, you come to organizations like us to help you figure that out. But I want to call them my own advisory board of directors, the group of people. There's 4 of the people on there. If these 4 people, whatever they say, despite what I think, if they tell me to do it, I will do it. They give me the energy to do it. One, because I trust them. They share what I share, which is they believe in doing good for the group at large and not just for the one. And when you think about leaders who we remember, who have done significant things, you recognize how downtrodden they must have felt. When you see the different walks with Dr. Martin Luther King and other leaders, when you think about the path they did and the impact that they made, it makes your trouble seem, in my opinion, a little insignificant in these sense, because we have so much. We have so much to do so little. So what I recognize is that when I feel that I am a little downtrodden, it is that probably means I'm doing something right and the devil is trying to stop me from going on. So that means I just need to reset, re-energize, and if I can't knock that brick wall down, I got to figure out a way to go around it to get to the other side. And I don't try and take that journey alone. I tell people, this is how I'm feeling. So if I call you and had a conversation, you got to stop what you're doing. You have to talk to me. Talk me through it, because I need it.
Yep. I don't know, we got to wrap up real quick. Yes, I have quit. I quit in a race that I was winning. I just stopped running. My coach was like, what's wrong with you? I have quit, but again, it's never how you start, but how you finish. And sometimes some stuff you do need to just quit. Like, okay, is this the best thing for me to do right now? But don't feel bad about yourself because you do quit. Okay, remember, it's never how you start, but how you finish. Remember that.
All right, y'all done dropped some gems today. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. And that is our CEO chat. If you guys would like to talk to them a little bit more, you know what to do. Please feel free to come up and meet them and greet them. And yeah, that's our CEO chat for today.
Can I make one more challenge?
Yes.
You know, this social media feed, a lot of us Black people are feeding that material for free. A lot of us people of color are doing it. You all's generation is, you're going to have to, on the business side, I need you to create your own platform that we can help you grow, because there's a lot of money in that, and we should not be getting somebody else's platform for free that we're not benefiting from. I believe there's a way to do it, and I think the answer lies in somewhere with you all. I would love to be a part of that journey with you, but I need some input or recommendations on how we elevate that type of business. So I should expect to hear from all of you all soon. Somebody. If not, I will be back, and it won't be nice. No.